The first thing we're going to need to do is take one of our big art papers and divide it in half. So fold it long ways in half. And again, your paper is going to look different than mine in the end because my paper is a little bit of a different shape than yours. Fold it, cut along the folded line. Please save the other half of this paper for another project. Don't use it up. When you make a mistake, you can erase, you can also flip it to the back, but please don't just run through your paper because you will run out. All right, now that we have our paper ready, we're going to draw circles and lines to make this cell illustration. Now, I'm going to draw the cells first, and that's going to be in 4 roundish curved shapes. So they can be circles or they can be kind of like blobby things. I'm going to make one here. And they can be different sizes too. I think I'm going to make one that's a little longer. Here. And here. Now you only need to do 4. I'm looking at mine. I think that's pretty good. I filled up my space. If you think you want to add a few more smaller ones to fill up the empty space, you can. But you don't have to. The next part is to draw 4 lines that run through your circles. Right. So I want to intersect. So the lines should start on one side of the paper and touch another side. So I have one traveling from the top to the bottom. I think I'll do a crisscross one over here. See if I can hit 3 circles on my way. 2. Then maybe do one down here. 3. And this one only has a line going once, so let me do this one. And then maybe this one curves. It goes through this one again. All right, so I have 4 circles, 4 lines. The next thing we need to do is to trace these lines with a thick black marker, Sharpie. Do not use regular markers. You need a permanent marker. So your permanent black marker, if you have one that's thick, that works the best. If you only have one that's thin, you might want to think about using a black crayon because that will also give you a nice thick line. You decide which one you use, but you need a thick black line. As you trace, if you need to take breaks, you can stop and pick your Sharpie up. I'm trying to take breaks right where my lines touch. After you finish tracing all of your lines, we're going to make this picture look a little more like a cell image. And the way we're going to do that is finding any lines that cross over and make little curves like that along all 4 sides, like that, curving inwards. I like a C shape facing away. And you need to do it on every intersecting line, not just the things in the center, but the things on the sides here too. All of them will have 4 corners, and it's okay if they're not even. I would maybe go one one cell at a time, and I have 4 cells here. I've checked all my corners from these two. I'm gonna follow my line along till I find more. If you can, go around and double check that every line that is connecting with another has been taken care of. The last step today is to color all of those corners in. So you'll get kind of diamond shaped sections. And I'm noticing some of my corners are kind of sticking out and they're rough. So I'm just gonna take my marker and kind of smooth it by tracing along that line, maybe making it a little bit thicker in some areas so it looks clean and I don't have any of these little spots. After it's all traced and you've given it a minute to dry, clean up any pencil lines that you might still see. Please remember to save your paper. Do not get rid of a project when we are halfway through it. We're going to be using this paper for a few classes.